Paramahansa Yogananda, the pioneering spiritual teacher who brought Eastern wisdom to Western audiences, conceived of vitality not merely as physical energy but as a harmonious integration of body, mind, and spirit. His approach to living naturally and vitally diverges from modern culture's often fragmented approach to wellness, instead offering a comprehensive philosophy rooted in the understanding that true energy flows from alignment with natural law and divine consciousness. The following 7 principles encapsulate his vision for a life characterized by genuine vigor and natural health. Before we begin, let's pause the moment. If you enjoy this video, give me a like, comment below about your thought and hit subscribe button so you don't miss any video inspired by Yogananda's teaching. Thank you very much. Way number 1. Cultivating pranic energy through breath. At the foundation of Yogananda's teachings lies the recognition that life force, known in Sanskrit as prana, animates all existence. Unlike the shallow breathing that characterizes modern life, Yogananda emphasized conscious, deliberate breathing practices as fundamental to cultivating vitality. He taught that most people utilize only a fraction of their lung capacity, thereby starving their systems of the vital energy that proper oxygenation provides. Pranayama, the practice of breath control, forms a cornerstone of his approach to natural living. Through regulated breathing exercises, practitioners learn to draw greater quantities of prana into their system, energizing the body and clarifying the mind. Yogananda advocated for beginning the day with conscious breathing practices, establishing a foundation of vitality upon which all other activities rest. The simple act of pausing throughout the day to take deep, conscious breaths serves as a reset mechanism, restoring depleted energy and recalibrating the nervous system. This principle extends beyond formal practice into daily life. Yogananda taught that awareness of one's breath transforms mundane activities into opportunities for energy cultivation. Walking, sitting, working, all become occasions to breathe consciously and draw vitality from the universe's infinite reservoir of prana. By respecting the breath as a sacred bridge between body and spirit, individuals access a renewable source of natural energy that requires no external input or consumption. Way number 2. Nourishing the body with natural foods. Yogananda's approach to nutrition reflected both his spiritual understanding and practical wisdom about physical health. He taught that food represents solidified energy and that the vibration of what we consume directly influences our own vibrational frequency. Rather than prescribing rigid dietary rules, he encouraged individuals to eat naturally occurring foods prepared with consciousness and gratitude. His teachings emphasize moderation, balance, and attunement to individual needs rather than dogmatic adherence to any single dietary philosophy. He recognized that different constitutions and life circumstances warrant different nutritional approaches, yet certain principles remain universal. Foods should be natural, minimally processed, and consumed with awareness. Fresh fruits, vegetables, grains, and legumes represent the foundation of vital nutrition because they carry the vital energy of nature. Equally important to what one eats is the consciousness with which food is consumed. Yogananda taught that eating hastily, anxiously, or without gratitude diminishes food's nutritional value and creates digestive problems. By contrast, consuming food with appreciation, in a calm environment, and with genuine enjoyment of flavors and textures enhances both nutrition and assimilation. The practice of blessing food before eating, whether through formal prayer or simple conscious acknowledgement, elevates eating from a mechanical act to a sacred communion with nature's abundance. He also advocated for periods of fasting or reduced eating as means of cleansing the physical and subtle bodies. Strategic fasting allows the digestive system to rest and regenerate while creating space for deeper spiritual awareness. This practice demonstrates the interconnection between physical discipline and spiritual development, illustrating how conscious care of the body naturally supports elevated consciousness. Way number 3. Balancing activity with adequate rest. Modern culture often glorifies constant productivity and wears exhaustion as a badge of honor. Yogananda fundamentally rejected this paradigm, teaching that vital living requires intelligent balance between activity and rest. He understood that the human system, like natural cycles, requires periods of restoration to function optimally. Rather than viewing rest as laziness or wasted time, Yogananda presented sleep and relaxation as essential maintenance for the entire organism. Quality sleep allows the body to repair itself, the mind to process experiences, and the spirit to commune with deeper dimensions of consciousness. He taught specific practices for improving sleep quality, including relaxation techniques and meditation performed before retiring. Beyond nighttime sleep, Yogananda emphasized the importance of conscious rest periods throughout the day. He advocated for moments of stillness, whether brief meditations, periods of quiet reflection, or simply periods of unhurried activity, as counterbalances to engagement and exertion. This rhythm of activity and rest mirrors natural cycles: day and night, exhalation and inhalation, expansion and contraction. He also distinguished between exhaustion and healthy fatigue. Vital living does not mean avoiding effort or challenge. Rather, it means engaging in activity aligned with one's values and capacities, then allowing adequate restoration. The individual who works with purpose and passion, then rests completely, accumulates genuine vitality. Conversely, the person who drives themselves relentlessly without true engagement or adequate recovery depletes their reserves, eventually becoming depleted despite outward activity. Way number 4. Establishing harmony with natural rhythms. Yogananda taught that humans are not separate from nature but integral parts of a cosmic whole governed by fundamental laws and rhythms. Vitality flows naturally to those who align their lives with these cosmic patterns rather than constantly swimming against them. This principle encompasses alignment with circadian rhythms, rising with or shortly after dawn, engaging in focused activity during daylight hours, and preparing for sleep as darkness falls. It extends to seasonal adjustments, recognizing that winter naturally calls for more introspection and rest, while summer invites greater activity and outward engagement. Many modern ailments stem from the disconnect between our artificial routines and these natural cycles. Yogananda also taught that certain practices carry particular power at specific times. Meditation performed in early morning hours, when the world is quiet and the veil between material and subtle realms is thin, yields especially profound results. Pranayama practiced at dawn charges the entire day with vitality. Conversely, attempting intensive spiritual practice during hours when natural energy patterns support relaxation creates friction and resistance. Beyond daily and seasonal rhythms, this principle encompasses alignment with lunar cycles and the natural progression of life stages. Each phase carries its own opportunities and challenges. The young possess vital physical energy suited for building and creating. The mature years bring wisdom and the capacity for deeper understanding. Later life naturally turns toward introspection and preparation for transition. Rather than resisting these natural progressions, vital living means embracing each phase's particular gifts. Way number 5. Engaging in spiritual practice as foundation. While the previous principles address physical and lifestyle dimensions, Yogananda taught that sustainable vitality ultimately rests upon spiritual foundation. He understood that humans possess a fundamental hunger for transcendent connection, and when this hunger goes unmet, even physical wellness remains hollow and incomplete. His approach to spiritual practice emphasized meditation as the primary means of contacting one's inner divinity and true nature. Through regular meditation, practitioners access the deeper consciousness that animates the physical form, thereby tapping into inexhaustible spiritual vitality. This inner contact dissolves the anxieties and disconnection that drain energy, replacing them with profound peace and purposefulness. Yogananda taught that meditation need not be complicated or time-consuming to be effective. Even brief, sincere practice performed regularly with genuine focus accomplishes transformation. Consistency matters more than duration. 10 minutes of genuine meditation daily outweighs sporadic longer sessions. Through persistent practice, the meditator gradually realizes their essential nature as spirit rather than mere body, fundamentally transforming their experience of vitality. This spiritual practice extends beyond formal meditation into what might be called a meditative consciousness, approaching daily life with the same awareness, presence, and inner attunement cultivated in formal practice. Yogananda taught that washing dishes, walking, or working can all become forms of meditation when performed with full presence and conscious connection to the divine. Way number 6. Cultivating mental discipline and positive thought. Yogananda recognized that thoughts possess tangible power, shaping both the inner experience and outer reality. Vital living requires conscious governance of the mind rather than allowing random thoughts and emotions to direct one's life. He taught specific techniques for disciplining thought patterns and cultivating the mental states that support health and well-being. The practice of positive affirmation. Consciously choosing constructive thoughts and repeating them until they establish new neural pathways and belief patterns, represents one approach to mental discipline. Rather than suppressing negative thoughts, which often intensifies them, Yogananda taught redirecting the mind toward constructive channels. When worry arises, one deliberately cultivates faith and trust. When doubt emerges, one reinforces affirmations of capability and divine support. This mental discipline extends to the practice of concentration, training the mind to focus on chosen objects or ideas rather than scattering its energy across countless distractions. Modern life constantly fragments attention. Yogananda taught that reclaiming the power of concentrated thought restores mental energy and increases effectiveness. A mind focused on worthy objectives accomplishes vastly more than a scattered mind despite its busyness. He also emphasized the importance of wholesome associations and environments. The company we keep, the books we read, the media we consume, all influence our mental states and ultimately our vitality. Yogananda advocated for intentionally surrounding oneself with uplifting influences while maintaining healthy boundaries against depleting or corrupting inputs. The consciousness is shaped by what we habitually expose it to. Therefore, conscious choice about our mental diet becomes as important as conscious choice about our physical diet. Way number 7. Serving others and living with purpose. Perhaps unexpectedly for a spiritual teacher, Yogananda placed strong emphasis on service and purposeful living as essential to true vitality. He taught that energy flows most freely through those whose lives serve something larger than personal aggrandizement or comfort. The individual who lives only for personal gratification eventually experiences a subtle depletion. Conversely, the one who channels their gifts toward genuine service discovers renewable energy. Service need not take dramatic form. A parent nurturing children, a worker performing their job with excellence, an artist creating beauty, a teacher sharing knowledge, all constitute valid forms of service when performed with genuine care and attention. What matters is the consciousness of service. The recognition that one's gifts and efforts matter beyond oneself, that one participates in something meaningful and interconnected. This principle connects to the importance of discovering and following one's life purpose. Yogananda taught that each individual incarnates with particular gifts and capacities suited to specific contributions. Vital living emerges naturally when one aligns with this life purpose rather than forcing themselves into unsuitable roles or pursuing goals disconnected from authentic values. The energy available when engaged in purposeful work vastly exceeds what emerges from mere obligation or external pressure. He also taught that service generates vitality through the principle of circulation. Energy, like water, stagnates when confined and blocked but flows and regenerates when allowed to move freely. When we serve others generously, sharing knowledge, time, resources, and compassion, we establish ourselves as conduits through which divine energy flows. This generates greater vitality than hoarding or protecting our resources out of fear of depletion. Integration and transformation. The 7 principles outlined above form not a rigid system but an integrated approach to vital living. Each supports and reinforces the others. Together they create synergistic effects exceeding what any single principle could accomplish alone. The individual who consciously breathes, eats naturally, rests adequately, aligns with natural rhythms, practices spiritually, disciplines their mind, and serves with purpose discovers not merely the absence of illness but the presence of genuine vitality. Yogananda's teachings offer particular relevance in contemporary culture where fragmentation characterizes both individual lives and approaches to wellness. Rather than compartmentalizing health into separate domains, physical fitness here, mental health there, spiritual concerns elsewhere, his integrated philosophy recognizes the fundamental unity of human existence. True vitality emerges when all dimensions align in conscious harmony with natural and divine law. The implementation of these principles need not be overwhelming or perfectionist. Yogananda taught that gradual, consistent progress accomplishes more than dramatic gestures. Beginning with a single principle, perhaps conscious breathing, and gradually incorporating others allows sustainable integration rather than unsustainable reformation. Over time, as these practices become habitual, they cease to feel like discipline and instead become expressions of one's nature. The reward for such living extends far beyond physical health and mental clarity, though these naturally follow. Ultimately, vital living as Yogananda conceived it represents a path to genuine happiness and spiritual fulfillment, a recognition of one's divine nature and alignment with the universal energies that sustain all existence.